Welcome everyone. It is Andrew here from IDB. AirPods have finally hit the market, arriving into Apple stores and those who are lucky enough to pre-order them on the first day availability. I've spent the entire first day trying them out in different scenarios, running, biking, wearing them just to kind of around the house and office and see what I think, and I have at least my first impressions and verdicts, and so far they are very good. Inside the box, we have this new updated packaging. It's not so thin font like it used to be in the past, but we do have a nice little embellished top on that is a little bit 3D effect. We have a few different manuals, the AirPods in their case, and of course a lightning to USB-A cable there in the bottom. There are instructions included with the AirPods, though they're pretty self-explanatory. They're really easy and minimalistic. Any review that you've seen out there kind of tells you that they're just really simple and easy to use. They do require an iPhone or an iOS device running iOS 10 or newer, and that's pretty much all you need. The package itself, the actual case, I was a little bit surprised by. It was smaller than I had originally suspected based on all the press images, but it was a little bit thicker than I thought too. What does it really most remind me of? It reminds me of those old kind of floss containers. It looks pretty much exactly like that, even with the little opening up lid. Just looks like a floss container. But other than that, it's really smooth and it fits really easy in the pocket and really small in your hand. On the bottom, of course, is the charging port that you can use with a lightning cable. Unfortunately, it's not a lightning to USB-C cable for any of the newer adapters out there, but for anyone sporting old tech, you are good to go. The lid pops open effortlessly, and that's all you really need to do to actually start using and pair these AirPods with your iPhone. Let's go ahead and do that, walk through that pairing process. We open the case within a few centimeters of the phone. This little really slick animation pops up on the screen with the AirPods rotating kind of in 3D there. We just tap on connect and you are set. And what's nice about these AirPods is they're not, of course, confined just to one device. They're actually confined to any device that you're using iCloud with, be it your iPhone, your Mac, your Apple Watch, your iPad. Any of those, of course, are now going to share the Bluetooth profile for your AirPods. The case itself actually packs in a battery. It has a full 24-hour battery if you're using the case, but you can get another 3 hours of charge by simply placing the AirPods into the case for only 15 minutes. So 15 minutes will garner you an extra 3 hours of usage time, which is really great. A full charge on these will actually give you about 5 hours of use all at one time. When you're putting the AirPods in and out of the case, they're actually magnetically attached, which is really slick. You just kind of set them in there and they just kind of shoot into their little pockets, and then you can close the lid, which also feels oddly enough magnetic. There are all these tiny little dots and holes all around the AirPods themselves. Of course, they're different things, including proximity sensors, because they can tell whether they are in or out of your ear. On the bottom, there are two kind of semicircles magnetic contacts, and that is what actually connects to the charging port in the inside of the case, which if you look closely enough, they're two tiny little orange dots that actually charge these things up. Now you can tell Apple has spent quite a bit of time on this case because it is crucial. It's not just about the AirPods, it's about this case that goes along with it. And this hinge is really nice. It's really effortless to kind of open up. It just flings to the back, and again it closes again with a satisfying little click. So they did clearly spend a lot of time on the case and on the hinge here. Of course, on the bottom, there's also that button that you can use to reset them or pair them to non-iOS or other iOS devices. So maybe you want to pair this to your Apple TV or a PC or any Android phone. You can do that easy enough. Of course, you're not going to get things like Siri on those devices. Now, as I mentioned, it syncs that Bluetooth profile over iCloud. So things like my Apple Watch already have that AirPods profile showing up when I go into the AirPlay preferences from my little control center swipe up thing. And even on my Mac, I have Sierra running here. I can click on the audio icon, give it a second to kind of refresh, but it'll see there are my AirPods. I can click that. This is all in real time. It just takes a couple seconds, maybe 5 or so, to complete the whole process of switching it from my iPhone to my Mac. And now I've moved my Bluetooth device. No pairing or anything else necessary to do so. You can also see the independent charging icons here. So it'll say right, because I only have the right one in at the moment, but I put them both in, it'll switch between the right and the left. So you know the independent audios, obviously I've been using my right AirPod more than my left one so far in my testing, so the battery is a little bit lower than the left guy is. Now, as far as battery life goes, I think 5 hours is a decent time. It's not going to get me necessarily through a full day, but if I am putting this into the case throughout the day, it's going to probably get me there. Same thing if I'm using this for like a flight, because I can just throw it in the case, 15 minutes, another 3 hours of charge. I do wish that it had that USB-C cable to work with my new MacBook, but it's no big deal just to use the one that I already have and not the one that they included in that box. One thing that I've heard a lot about is whether or not these are going to stay in your ears, and what's the difference between these and EarPods. Well, first up, as far as audio quality goes, I do think they're better. It's a little bit fuller, rounder. It's a slightly better audio quality than EarPods. But that said, if you're really looking for audio quality, you're not looking for necessarily a Bluetooth headset, you're going to look for something a little bit more higher up on the food chain than these little EarPods or AirPods. There are a few other differences that you'll notice other than just the lack of a wire. There's all those sensors on the AirPods, things like the proximity sensors and haptic sensors and all of those. And then of course, the stem itself is going to be a little bit thicker. Obviously, these need to fit in things like a battery. So there are those contacts around the bottom that give that silver, that chrome trim, and then just a longer and slightly thicker stem going down the body of the AirPod itself. Cords are really going to be my differentiator between these and the EarPods, because that's really what keeps these in my ears, is that lack of that cord. I could not get EarPods to really stay in all the time. I could wear them while I was at my desk, but anytime I was moving around at all, it was a pain that just the slightest turn of my head would make them fall out. But AirPods, you can see I'm shaking about like a madman, and these don't fall out. At least for me, I have not had any problems getting these to stay in my ears. They've worked very well in doing so. Just that combination of a little bit more weight, though they are very light, and the fact that there are no cords just to kind of bump against your face, your collar, or anything else, or just get pulled on in general. Because of that ear detection, it's pretty cool because you can actually remove it from your ear, and every time you do, it pauses. Every time you put it back in, it'll go ahead and resume your music or your movie or TV show, whatever it is that you're listening to through the AirPods themselves. It's also cool because there is a sensor on the side that you can use to activate Siri. So if you wanted to ask Siri a question like how much battery is remaining in my AirPods, they'd be able to tell you, as well as controlling music and adjusting volume. That said, I really do wish there were more audio controls available, such as play pause, without having to use Siri. You can switch the double tap for Siri to play pause, but then you have to really control everything through your phone. So these are just my first hands-on impressions. If you have questions about the AirPods, let me know down in the comments below. Please subscribe for more videos like this. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. And until next time, this is Andrew for IDB.